How's it, y'all? Welcome to today's video. So in today's video we are, well, like all the other videos that I've been making recently, we are working on the Toyota Matrix XRS. Basically, I knew I had to do this for a while now, but I didn't really want to do it until recently. One, because the wheels that I put on a few videos ago were very big, and because of that, the brakes, unfortunately, they needed to get done anyways when I first got this car. Then when I put the 18s on, they really needed to get done. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys today how to do a brake job on this car. The XRS has the front and rear brake rotors and pads. So the backs are fixed caliper and the fronts are floating caliper. So hopefully you guys enjoy. If you guys haven't already, definitely go down and like this video. Comment down below if you like to do these kind of things yourself, or if you'd like to take it to a shop or have a mobile mechanic come over and do it for you. So with that all being said, guys, let's get into this video. Hope you guys enjoy it. Start the intro. Okay, so we have a couple things going against us today to start this video off. One, the sun is over there and it's about to go down in probably about 2.5 hours. And secondly, well, it's me, so you know I'm going to talk for about an hour and a half of that, but I'm going to try my best not to. Unfortunately, we had to go back to the OEM 16s. I'm not gonna lie, I'll be honest with you, I'm really bummed about it, but there's a reason why, and I will get into that reason in just a second. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take off one wheel in the front and show you guys how to do it, and then one wheel in the back and show you guys how to do it, because it's the same process, if you know what I mean. Fronts are kind of different than the backs because we have the floating caliper up front and then the fixed caliper in the rear. Let's go ahead and see what we got though for brake pads and rotors. I like to have everything set up so that once I get started, I don't have to stop. So we'll put that right there. We'll put the rears back here. All right, so I got these gloves from Harbor Freight and I'm gonna try them out because they are textured. I kind of want to try these out because I have the worst grip when it comes to bolts and sockets, so hopefully this helps. And also what you can do is they're kind of reversible, so you can have a dirty side like this and then you could flip them around on the clean side and use your phone or whatever if you want to do that. So yeah, I'm trying them out and so far they're pretty good. You love the fact that the Matrix has a jack point that is literally right here, and it is probably one of the best jack points that of any car I have had, front wheel drive anyways, because you can just get the jack right underneath it and get it up and it works perfectly. So we're gonna go ahead and jack this up and go from there. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Not gonna lie, I've never been a real fan of AC Delcos. They're not my favorite jack stand in the world, and I'm not saying that because I like Harbor Freight's jack stands better, but I am saying that because every single time I use AC Delco jack stands, sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not as good. There we go. Not gonna lie, I kind of miss the drift cars where there is a jack point in the back of the car, like on the rear diff, because on front wheel drive cars they don't have that, so you have to go from the side, which isn't a big deal, but it's one of those things where it's not as easy to get the car jacked up. Thankfully, these pinch points are so nice because this car's never been lifted up other than at shops, so super nice. Let's go ahead, go over there and get the jack stands, and then take them over. 1, 2, 3. Just like that. Sweet. Since the sun is coming from directly behind me, we're we're gonna go ahead and get started on this side, and I'm gonna show you exactly how I do my brake jobs. I have a particular way I like to do my brake jobs, and I like to use caliper grease, very important. I like to use my Permatex anti-seize right there. Can't ever go wrong with brake clean. So we're gonna have to use this. We're gonna have to pull out one more can. Oh my God, they already went through that box. That's crazy. We just got that box too. Put you guys back on. So grab your impact, whatever impact that you prefer. Get the proper size, which is, these are 21. Let's go ahead and take the wheel off. One thing I love about brake jobs is that you can take the wheel off and use it as a seat. So we got a perfect seat now. Before we do anything, since these brakes have never been changed in my ownership, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to hit all of the mounting surfaces and the slide pins with some PB Blaster. Make them come off easier. I'm gonna take the slide pins off first, and then I'm gonna take the hub off. I take the slide pins off first because then if you take the hub off and then take the slide pins off, the slide pins are a little harder to take off because you just have an anchor point with the hub bolt. So we're gonna go ahead and loosen all those real quick. I already have this set up, so we have 14 right here, 17 right here. So now we're gonna go ahead and take the slide pins off so we can get access to the hanger. Take those out, put them to the side, and then we can get access to our caliper. What most people will do is they'll zip tie it from this shock tower to here so that it doesn't move. I'm not gonna have it out for very long, so I'm just gonna keep it right there, and then we'll go ahead and take the bracket bolts off. All right, so now that that's off with the brake pads, we can now verify that brake pads weren't looking too bad on this side at all. The fronts definitely look like they've been done recently, but I'd rather just, you know, do them myself and know that they are done. I also want to paint these brackets in the caliper, but we'll do that in a future video. All right, so now I have the new rotor staged. Take out the plastic, and we're going to take the old rotor. We're going to put it back in. Before we do anything else, we're going to clean off the surface with some brake clean. And then what I like to do is I like to get some anti-seize, and we're just going to anti-seize the back surface. Just a dab because it's going to spread out once you put the rotor on. So we're going to put this. A little bit goes a long way, and this will help for the future brake jobs that we do on this car. And then after you do that, we're going to take the rotor, put it on backwards just for now, and then we're going to take our brake clean and just clean off all the oils. Cool. After done with that, I like taking some blue rags, grabbing it because you don't want to put more oil and junk on it from your gloves. Just like that. And then I like to put a bolt on the very bottom. That way it holds it down nice and tightly so that it won't move. And then again, we're just going to spray it off with the remaining of the brake cleaner, because there's oils that are on the rotor that we want to make sure are not on the rotor or not on the pad, because then it just creates a little bit more longer of a braking process. You then want to take your old brake pad, line it up with the caliper, and then what I do is I take a C-clamp, clamp it down. Goal is to get underneath the back of the caliper. You want to get in the back, you want to have it nice and sturdy. And then all you're going to do is you're just going to rotate the caliper. And this works even better when you have a dual piston caliper. Putting the brake pad on ensures that it's going to seat nicely, because if one piston is sticking out and the other one is in, which the brake fluid, as you push it in, if you don't push it in evenly, one piston will push in, pushing the other one out. So you want to push both of them in evenly, just to ensure that your pad sits nicely in it. And we're also going to inspect this real quick to make sure that there's no leaks, because if there's a leak, then this seal right here would be the first thing to leak, and we don't want that. Now that we ensure there's no leaks, we're going to go ahead and brake clean it off one more time. And whoever was in here previously just went to town on the brake quiet, which I don't like the red brake quiet, which is what they put on this, because it's sticky and it makes a mess. I'm not a really big fan of the red. That's why I use this caliper grease, which I will put links in the description of brake quiet as well as the anti-seize that I use, so that you guys have a chance of using what I use every single time I do a brake job on any one of my cars. I will be painting these. I already have the paint on the way, they just didn't get here in time. So I will be painting them, and I'll have a whole video covering that too, because honestly that really deserves its own video in itself, because there's a specific way I do that also. So now what we're going to do is we're going to verify that the brake pads are the right ones, because the last thing you want to do is be halfway through your brake job and not have the right brake pads. So I like to use the old shims, but because these are new, I'm going to show you how to use new ones, which simple enough. It's very simple. It's just the old ones, when you're doing a quick job, the old ones are a lot easier to use because they've already been broken in and you can clean them up real nice. But we're going to use the new ones so that I can show you exactly how to install these. Now we're going to open these up and we're going to verify that they are the same, because as you can see, this one has a shim. Usually it does come with a shim, but if not, you can take these shims off and basically reuse them. So cool, looks like they are the same, so it really doesn't matter which pad you use with the shim, but it does matter as far as orientation. So let's say, for example, we're going to use this one for the back, which, as you can tell, this one has a slot on the side, this one has a slot going up and down. So all we're going to do is we're literally just going to take the shim from the old one. You don't want any dirt between the main snap surface. You do that, and then all we're going to do is just install it onto this one. You want to make sure it's nice and tight on there. That one is, because the last thing you want to do is have this shim fall off while you're driving. That just wouldn't be a good deal. So now that it's on there, these are ready to go. What we're going to go ahead and do now is brake clean the hub bracket, take these off, and then we're going to put the new ones on. As far as matching them up, they don't really have to be perfectly matched. They just got to fit in nice and snug. So we're going to go ahead and snap these in real quick. There we go, snap them in. And then what you're going to want to do is these tabs right here, this tab and this tab, you want to push them in. So now we're going to take this anti-seize, put some of it on the contact points right here and right here, slide those back in again, and then do it for the other side too. I don't think the person that did this brake job last did it right, but what's new? Take these slide pins out. Oh yeah, these things are toasted. So I'm gonna take these slide pins out, take all the grease off of them. Then we're gonna put some of this stuff on, which I love this stuff. That's why I got a big container of it, but we're just going to take just a dab and dab a little bit on. You don't need much. And then all you're gonna do is you're going to put it back in here, and you're gonna rotate it while making sure that all of the quiet gets thoroughly dispersed in there. So you're gonna rotate it just to make sure it spreads out evenly, because that's what you want, guys. You want your slide pins to be able to do that, Look at that, guys. Like, that is rock solid. That's not going anywhere. But this is gonna slide in and out. It does slide while the piston's being pushed. So if these are stuck, that means your pad is gonna get stuck against your actual rotor, and that's what happened. That's when your caliper starts seizing. So like that took a little while to finally let go. So that's why we go ahead and do the slide pins. Slide pins are only on floating calipers. They're not on fixed calipers. Fixed calipers, you do not have slide pins. You have your actual set pins, which you'll see when I do the back ones. You'll see what I mean by that. Again, and justification on that. You don't need much. A little goes a long way with this. There we go. Alrighty, and then we're gonna put these back in, rotate them around, go back and forth with it. So now that that's done, so the rear, this brake pad with the shim on it, it's gonna go on the rear and it's gonna go on the bottom because we want that pin to be on the very bottom. So as it's rotating down, this will extend, and we'll make sure that we know that the brake pad is down to the last bit of wear, which obviously if you look down that, the last bit of wear is about right there. So we want that thing to go so we want it to go on the bottom side, lowest point on the back side of it. That means that it's gonna go in like this. And then one of the most important parts is before you put these bracket bolts back on, you just want to give it a little bit of a dab of anti-seize. Like I said before, a little goes a long way, so you don't have to absolutely douse them because it will spread. You're just going to reinstall them like so. Alrighty, so tighten those bolts up, put the brake pads in, the slide pin bolts back in, tighten those up, and that's all you got to do. So let me go ahead and get this side done, and then we'll go over to the next side, and then we'll be on our way. So let's get it done. If you guys haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel. It really helps me a lot. Instead of sharing this video, do me a favor and just watch the whole video through. Apparently that's what YouTube likes, is for you to watch everything through. So whatever you're doing while watching this video, which I definitely appreciate you tuning in, watch to the end. That would mean the world to me, so I appreciate that very much. And if you guys haven't already, I would definitely hit that bell just so you see all of my videos that I post. I do post every Friday and Saturday, either in the morning or at night. So that is my schedule right now for uploading. And if you don't see a video of mine uploaded on either one of those days, then definitely resubscribe, because YouTube has been unsubscribing a lot of their accounts. I don't know why, but they have. And yeah, so we're trying to grow this channel. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers before January of 2025, which is coming up quick. But we just hit 900, so thank you guys so much for that. We are almost at 1,000. We're just creeping up really, really slowly, but I would rather have slow progression than no progression at all. So thank you guys, mahalo nui loa, for doing that. And with that being said, let's get back into this and get this brake job done. Yes, sir. And lastly, before we are powered with this side, we got to put some brake quiet on the back of the pads. And basically what brake quiet is it's a gel adhesive that as soon as you break in the pads and rotors, which we will be doing at the end of this video, I'll show you guys how I do it. What this ensures is that once it heats up, it will stick to this piston, and it'll stick to this surface. It'll ensure that the brake pads get worn down evenly, so that this basically isn't on the rotor the entire time, instead of it being pulled back as far as possible from the rotor surface. The more you know. All right, it is done. So the one thing I can't stand about new hardware is the fact that you literally have to like beat the brake pad in, but we got everything nice and snug. Very pleased with that. So let's go ahead and go to the back real quick and go ahead and get that changed out. Let me go ahead and put this wheel back on real quick, and then we will go to the rears. All right, so we are on to the backs now, and same process. The only difference is that this has the actual holding pins, and the slide pins are one and the same. Oh yeah, these pads are done for. This needed a brake job a while ago. These side pins come out, and it has a bracket, and then all you have to do is just take the hub pins, which the hub bolts on this particular car or a particular setup is going to be right here. You don't have to take these off because this actually is what mounts the fixed caliper to the actual piston itself. There's no life back on those pads, and you can tell because the piston is way farther out than it should be. Also, the cool thing about using the C-clamp to push the piston back in is so that you actually don't have to break the bleeder, which causes air to get into the hydraulic system, and you having to basically fill up the brake fluid. Pushing it in will ensure that there's no air that gets in the system, as well as it's just a way faster way of going about making sure that the system doesn't have to be bled again. So the more you know, that's how I've been doing it. I do need to do a full brake flush on this, but until that happens, I'm going to just be pushing the piston in so that the fluid goes back into the system. The fluid's not bad, doesn't look bad. Usually with bad fluid, it's going to be really dirty, as well as when you push the pedal in, you're gonna feel squish, like it's gonna be squishy and not firm. So that's kind of the best way of finding out if your fluid needs to be changed. My fluid is not that bad, so we're gonna go ahead and just get these pads and rotors changed. So I got the pads out, and these things were pretty much metal to metal. Yeah, they have no life in them. So important thing though, these, make sure you don't lose them, because most of the new pads that you will get will not come with hardware, so you need to reuse these. Opened up. When you're doing brake pads on this, which I've never seen before, this actual caliper will move all the way to the back. What you have to do is take flathead or a pry bar. Probably a pry bar would be best, and I would have the old rotor on this when you do it, because it will scratch up the finish of the rotor. If you don't care about that, then don't worry about it. You're going to have to pry this whole section out so that this will be able to fit into it. I've never seen it before where you've had to pry the actual caliper itself, but then again, I've never really done a brake job on this. Always remember, guys, this brake wear shim will have to go in the back. Thankfully though, obviously the fronts take more of the braking job than the rears. The fronts take about 60 and the rears take about 40, so at least that's a good thing. But yeah, so we're gonna go ahead. It's not getting any warmer, so I definitely want to get this done sooner than later. So we're going to put both anti-seize on the threads, as well as a little bit of caliper grease or brake quiet on the back of the bolts, so that make sure that the threads don't seize, and then this make sure that it can move in and out freely. All right, real quick before I forget to do this, on most of these newer brackets, so for example right here, they'll ensure that the pad doesn't come out as it's sliding. So this tab, so you can use a screwdriver, and you just want to push it in, and you also want to do it in the back too. There we go. All right guys, so now that the brakes are installed, we're gonna go ahead and we're going to do the braking process. So there's a particular way I do this. I do the 60, 50, 40. I'll show that to you guys right now. So to do this, make sure that you are on a safe road where you are able to get up to these speeds without endangering anyone, as well as where you can be in complete control of the car. So we're gonna go to 40. And then you slam on the brakes. That way, the heat can get into the brakes. That will activate the brake quiet that we applied on it. We're gonna do a 60, a 50, and a 40 hit. I just did that 40 hit right there just to make sure that the piston was suppressed. And so here we go right now. 60 all the way to 0 if it's safe. And then we're gonna go ahead and do a 50. Right there. All the way to 0. And then finally you're gonna go to a 40. There we go. Now I can feel that they're in and they are nice and set. Okay guys, pretty much what this break-in period does for your brakes is, one, it shows you what condition the brake fluid is. If your brake fluid is old and it's contaminated, it will make your brake pedal squishy. So that way, when you slam on your brakes, you are putting as much force on your braking system as possible. And when you do that, if something's going to leak, it's going to leak then and there. And also, when you're going 60 to 0, 50 to 0, and 40 to 0, what that does as well is it keeps heat in the rotor and the pads, which ensures there's nice adhesion from the caliper to the brake pad, but it also makes it so that the pad surface gets evenly worn into the rotor so that you don't have any uneven wear. Also, after you're done with the braking process, you want to drive around and cool those rotors down. The last thing you want to do is go park for like 4 hours, because what's going to happen is that heat in the rotor is going to, well, depending on what the temperature is outside, it's going to cool it very quickly, and you don't want that, because that will lead to warpage. So what you want to do is drive around a little bit, make sure that everything works, make sure the brakes work, make sure the e-brake works, make sure everything works. Or the biggest problem I see with a lot of people doing their own maintenance is that they don't go out and extensively test what they did, because, you know, if something's going to go wrong, you might as well know it goes wrong after you do the job, because then you can go and fix it instead of, you know, just leaving it and then having premature wear on other things. So just my 2 cents. I've been doing a lot of the work on my own cars since I got into the automotive field. So, you know, take it with a grain of salt, kind of do what you need to do, because obviously floating calipers and fixed calipers are not different as far as braking period, but they are different. Like, they're 2 different things. It's like a hamburger to a hot dog, 2 different things. So anyways guys, I'm gonna let you guys go. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you guys made it this far, thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. I would love if, you know, you guys obviously, you know, liked this video. That would be amazing, and subscribed. And also, I wouldn't mind if you went ahead and commented down below if you guys do the 60, 50, 40 braking procedure, or if you guys do your own brakes. And also, I want to ask, what is your guys' opinions on drilled and slotted versus just, you know, regular rotors? For me, I don't like drilled and slotted. I don't like them at all, because they actually make your brake pads wear prematurely, because slotted is basically a cheese grater just hitting your pads, and you don't want that to happen. You don't want to have to prematurely have to do your brake pads more often than not. And then for me, as long as the rotors are vented and not solid, that right there changes everything, so that the rotors can actually breathe and get that air into the actual rotor and cool it down. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Let me know your guys' thoughts. I do want to just ask you guys, in every video that you guys watch of mine, if you can watch the entire thing through, I don't care if, you know, you're paying attention or not, have your earphones in and watching it while you're cleaning the house or while you're washing your car, just make sure to watch it all the way through. The YouTube algorithm right now wants everyone to watch all the videos all the way through, because if you watch it halfway and then stop watching it, basically the algorithm thinks that the video wasn't entertaining enough. So that's even more important than you commenting down. So if you guys can just subscribe, like this video, and then watch it all the way through, those big 3 things will grow this YouTube channel so much, and it'll help me help you guys with getting more things for the car to install, making it so that this build is everything I want it to be, but also for the SC, for the Supra, and the 4Runner, and any other builds that we get. Everything I make on YouTube, or everything that I make for the company, goes back into the channel, because this I do for you guys, and I love doing it, but I love just supporting the community as best I can. So with that all being said, guys, thank you guys for coming through. I appreciate it. And always remember, never forget, always stay positive and stay true to who you are. Till next time, guys. Cheers! shoots it in. Peace.
Search everywhere.